Hey guys, I'm going to be covering all the add-ons that I use and some UI tips and tricks that I wish I knew from the beginning. These will heavily increase your awareness, so definitely take note. If you don't have them, I would definitely try them out. So the biggest thing about World of Warcraft in arenas, there's so much going on, and you want to limit that as much as possible. So I'd recommend any add-ons that you do not need, I would turn them off immediately. The goal of this is to make your screen as simple as possible, so whenever you need to see something, you'll see it right away, and it will be the first thing that catches your eye. Alright, so the first thing we're going to be looking at is the most important thing on this entire video. You're going to want to go into your game menu by pressing escape, go to system, and then under the graphics section, you'll see a little box in there with UI scale. You want to make sure you check mark this. This number will vary on your monitor size. Right now, currently I'm using a 27-inch 2560 by 1440 monitor. I'm currently using a 0.75, but as the days go on, I'm moving it up slowly, and I would recommend anywhere from a 0.75 all the way up to like a 0.90 or so. Looks really good. This will make your action bars and your frames, just your entire UI, bigger, and that will be the biggest thing that will increase your awareness. Very huge to have this. So we're going to be looking at a few of the graphics real quick. So projected textures, you do want to have this enabled. Having this enabled will make certain abilities way easier to be seen. For example, Cataclysm from Destrolux. My recommendation is to turn shadow quality all the way too low. This will help with seeing where the enemy and your teammates are, because the less stuff that you don't need to see, the better. On particle density, you're going to want to have this at least on good, high, or ultra. Having this disabled or even on low will make it impossible to see major abilities like Rogue Smoke Bomb. Alright, so now we're going to go back out to the game menu and go to the interface. You want to make sure sticky targeting is checkmarked. That's when you have someone targeted. If you click the ground, it will not untarget them. Down to the combat section, checkmark target of target. When you're targeting a player, they'll have a little frame underneath them and it will show who they are targeting. This can be helpful to see who they're going to go. Underneath that is your preference. Do not flash screen at low health. You can have this checkmarked or not. Whenever you get low health, it will flash your screen red. Underneath that one though is loss of control alerts. You do want to have this one checked. Whenever you're feared, stunned, sitting in a crowd control effect, it will show you in the middle of the screen how long it is and what it is. Moving to the display section. Under status text, it's your preference, numeric value. This will show their exact health, and then percentage will be just more simple and easy on the eye. But remember, you won't be able to see how geared they are if you do have percentage on. At higher rating, usually everyone is maxed item level, so it does not make a difference there. Under social, this is not really a PvP one, but under chat style, I'll prefer classic style. It just makes it more simple. So to the action bars, you will want to turn all of these on: bottom left bar, bottom right bar, and right bar 2. So the thing is, you can put all of your macros on the right bars on your screen, and then you can actually disable the right bar and right bar 2. You will not be able to see them anymore, but they will still work. And what I mean by this is enemy 1, 2, 3 kind of macros, so you don't have to see so many of the same abilities on your screen. Down to the name section. You can use this one if you want. This is personal, but larger nameplates can make it easier so you can see where the enemy's positioning is. Over here on the side, you're going to want to make sure minions is checkmarked, and the main reason we're going to be using this is so we can see Grounding Totem, Sky Fury, and Tremor. Down to raid profiles, this is going to be a super important one. You're going to want to checkmark use raid style party frames. Under sort by, you're going to want to put group and then display incoming heals, display power bars to see how much mana your healer has. You're going to want to display class colors, super important. I love that one. Display pets is huge. Do not have keeps grouped together checkmarked, or else your pet will be way down at the bottom of the screen for some reason. I don't know if it's bugged out or something. I don't know what it is. You're also going to want to have show debuffs on. And then frame height and frame width, you're going to max those out completely. And up here on the display health text, what I recommend is either health percentage or none. The health percentage can be quite big, so none is a great option as well. Those are what I think the most important UI settings are right now. So before I hop into the PvP add-ons, there's actually an add-on for the interface. If you wanted, it's called Advanced Interface Options. It can make you where you cannot see titles, guild names, guild titles, just a lot of things like that. Alright, so we're going to be moving on to the add-ons here. I'm going to be showing you which ones are just my favorite all around and what helped me out the most. I'm not going to be going over the settings too much except for a few specific ones. I will show my settings, but I'm not going to talk about them too much, just to keep the video from reaching 15 to 20 minutes. I'll try to get y'all what y'all came for in a fairly decent time without leaving anything major out. So the first add-on we're going to be looking at, there's actually two of them. You can use either one, is either Gladius or Sarena. I personally use Sarena myself. Now I'll probably have the worst example for this add-on in this video. The reason is because I started using the Xarmods default setting. I actually used that as soon as I got the add-on a long time ago, and it worked perfectly fine, but then I got an update and it started showing Polymorph as my trap DR and Kidneys as our feral stun DRs, and I'm actually trying to fix this currently while I'm uploading this video. So Sarena and Gladius, they're going to show you the enemy frames on the right side of your screen. You can position it wherever, but it's mainly to put them in the middle-ish of your screen, sort of on the right side, and it's going to show the enemy's trinkets on the right there. You can move them around, and it's also going to show all of their DRs so you can know when you can do your next go. On their frames will also show the cooldowns they're using. For example, the Death Knight uses IBF, it shows that. If the Shaman used Wall, it would also show that. If one of them has Mind Games on them, it will show me they have Mind Games on them. This is probably the most needed add-on, either Gladius or Sarena, in the entire game whenever you're playing 3s or 2s. The next add-on, I'm sure most of you have it if you PvE or PvP, is weak auras. You can set up a weak aura, for an example, combustion for fire mages. It will make a sound effect for you, and you can set it where it's huge on your screen, has a glowing border, and it's just very noticeable. It's very needed so you can know when to pet sack. For example, a lot of abilities you want to track: Combustion, Seraphim, Sky Fury, Avatar, Incarnation, and even the new Maledict trinkets, and much more. The next add-on we're going to be looking at is called BigDebuffs. This one is super good. It's one of my favorites actually. All this one does is replace the frame. For example, if they get kidney shotted, their frame goes from their picture to a big kidney shot, and it shows how long it's lasting. Now this will help your awareness way more. You will not be stunning on a target that's already stunned, for example. It's super good, very helpful. This also shows how long they're silenced for from an interrupt as well. Overall, a just really great add-on. So another add-on that makes a huge difference in my gameplay is called Omnibar. This tracks enemy cooldowns and makes it much easier to get traps off if you're tracking the right things. So by default, this is tracking enemies' interrupt abilities and a few other ones. And as a hunter, we really don't care about interrupts. The only thing we would need it for is for when we're rezzing our pet or when we're using Scare Beast. Especially if you're new to all this sorts of stuff, then you're going to want to take the interrupts off. You're going to uncheck everything for every single class, unless you are a caster, of course. But in this example, we're a hunter. When tracking abilities, you want to keep it minimal. When it comes to arenas, you do not want to be tracking every ability in the enemy's spellbook. Even if you're tracking just 5 abilities, that's going to be 15 abilities total from the 3. It'll be a huge cluster. So you have to keep in mind what comp you're playing. We're playing jungle here, so I'm only going to track things that we need to track. I do not track Fire Mage Combustion on this because they shorten their cooldown with their talents, and I think it's a little buggy on here, so it does not track the perfect timing, but they have it every 1 minute. I do track Avenging Wrath from Paladins for their huge burst. I track this just so I can see exactly when it's coming up, and it just doesn't come out of absolutely nowhere. So for tracking Priest, this is the biggest one. Priests are one of the favored classes, Discipline and Holy, and sometimes it's very hard to get a trap. Even if we stun the Priest, his teammates can prevent me from getting a trap by stunning me or using Grounding Totem or Reflect, and I just will not be able to throw the trap down, so I'll have to land a free trap. Greater Fade lasts 4 seconds, and if you throw a trap into it, it'll waste your trap and it will not trap him. Shadow or Death is also a big ability that you need to watch out for when trapping. It's on a 15-second cooldown, so this one is kind of huge. Whenever they use it, it's an instant cast, it does damage to somebody, and if they don't die, then they get damaged back to them a second later. Meaning if they use Shadow or Death on anyone and you trap him at the same time, the Shadow or Death will do damage back to him and break the trap. I also track Psychic Scream, which is their fear. Down to the rogues, I track Kidney Shot, Vanish, and Vendetta. Kidney is a 6-second stun ability and is on a 20-second cooldown, and you definitely need to know whenever he has it again. Vanish is their getaway ability. You need to track this because they have Legendary. It gives them 100% crit for 4 seconds after leaving stealth. and vanish puts you in stealth. So this is part of their damage rotation, especially for assassination. The reason you need to track this is because you can actually put flare down and you can't vanish in it. So whenever he does not have vanish, you don't have to constantly be sitting in a flare. I also track Vendetta because I just want to be ready for it. That's a preference though. Same with Avenging Wing. Going to Shamans. A very important one you want to track is Grounding Totem. It lasts for 3 seconds and it's on a 30-second cooldown. If you throw a trap onto an enemy while this is down, it will absorb the trap. I also track Lightning Lasso because it is an interruptible stun that does a fairly decent amount of damage. Moving down to Warlocks, the only thing that I track is Havoc. They put Havoc on you and then they Mortal Coil your partner, and it also uses Mortal Coil on you too. You can feign Death Whistle off, or your Druid can dispel you. So the last one is Warrior. You're going to be tracking Spell Reflection. There's a legendary where they can throw Spell Reflect on their healer, and if you trap into it, it'll just trap you instead. The next add-on I'm going to be covering is huge. This one is called OmniCD. This one's going to track your party member cooldowns, but remember, just like the other one, you do not want to track everything in their spellbook. I'm not going to go over every single class to track, but I'm going to be going over what I play, since I do play jungle, which is with a feral druid and a priest. So the things that I'm tracking are Trinket, and then Skull Bash, so we do not interrupt the same ability, Mighty Bash, so I can know when he has stun up or if he does for my trap. And then you can go down and enable Bark Skin and Survival Instincts. If that is too much, then you can disable Bark Skin and Survival Instincts, because it can be overwhelming when there's too much on the screen going on. But I definitely recommend getting used to the Bark Skin and Survival Instincts and adding them later, if not now. A big one that you need to track for the priests are Psychic Scream, which is the biggest one in my opinion, so you can know when he has fear and when he does not. If you're comfortable with more, then you can get his defensive abilities like Greater Fade, Guardian Spirit, Pain Suppression, and Power Word Barrier. This helps you avoid overlapping your Pet Sacrifice with some of his major defensive cooldown abilities. And it also is a big help whenever you're getting trained to know if you need to press Turtle or not. You can go down to the PvP trinkets, check mark all the PvP trinkets, and underneath the trinket section you can check mark Sinful Gladiator's emblem. That is his tank trinket that gives you extra health for 15 seconds on a 1.5 minute cooldown. You can also go down to racial traits and track a Will to Survive, because a lot of times if you're playing Alliance and there is a human on your team, they will be running a Will to Survive instead of a medallion trinket. The next add-on we're going to be looking at is OmniCC. This one is not that much. All it is the cooldown count for everything. When you use an ability, it's going to show a timer text on that ability, how long it has exactly until it's usable again. The numbers will change from white to yellow to red the closer they get to being able to be used again. I actually added this in World of Warcraft interface user settings under action bars, and then you can check mark show numbers for cooldowns. The only difference is the size of the numbers, and they do not change colors. They are strictly white. I prefer the add-on. That's up to you. Another add-on I have here is called TellMeWhen. I use this one for Thrill of the Hunt to see how long it has until it drops off and how many stacks it has. I've heard weak orders can do the same thing, but I use a separate add-on, and I do have a video on how to set it up for Thrill of the Hunt specifically. I'll have it in the description below. So moving on to Leatrix Plus. This is an add-on where you can pretty much make your frames whatever size you want them to be. You can increase your focus size, which can be very helpful. I personally have class colored frames turned on as well. That makes it a little bit easier on your focus target to be able to see abilities like mind games. Another add-on we're going to be looking at is Arena nameplate numbers. This pretty much just replaces their name with 1, 2, 3. This will make it a lot simpler and easier to look at. This will also correspond with what number they are in the arena, so arena target 1 will be number 1. And so on. But that's not what I use it for. I use it to just make it look simpler. On a Gladius or S Arena, 1 is the top guy, 2 is the middle, and 3 is the bottom. And we can't really set up our UI for these add-ons to look perfect without the add-on called Ealign. After you get this add-on, all you'll do is type /align. A grid will pop up and you can line up your frames and all of your add-ons perfectly. Those are all the PvP add-ons that are needed, but I have a few other cool ones that will clean up the UI and make things just look better. So the first one one to clean up the UI is Xarmods. Zaryu had his own add-on made and he has some really cool features in them. My two favorite ones are definitely going to be the hide bags and hide screen glow. And I saved the best one for last, and that's definitely going to be ClassicNumbers. You can increase the size of the text and how long they stay up for, and they just look so much better. That's pretty much going to wrap it up, but if you did find this video helpful, then be sure to like the video, and if you are wanting to learn more about the Hunter class, PvP specifically, then drop a subscribe because that's what this channel is about. If you want to find me on Twitch, then I will have it right here at tar_wow. I'm going to have a new video coming out soon, by the way. It's going to be over like Hunter tips and tricks and pretty much just how to get high rated in arenas, practices that you can do and work on. But that's all. Thanks for watching. Later.